Hey guys, let's get more news from Dallas Cowboys, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Dallas Cowboys, Jake Ferguson named team's unsung hero of 2023 season. We have talked a lot about the high levels of production that the Dallas Cowboys received in 2023 from a handful of players, notably quarterback Dak Prescott and wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. Conversation is hardly positive these days around head coach/play caller Mike McCarthy, but it is undeniable that he elevated the floor of offensive production in his first season running the show. While Prescott and Lamb had career years, there were many other players who showed up and showed out throughout the season, and tight end Jake Ferguson had arguably the next best season after Prescott and Lamb. Ferguson experienced career highs all over the place, which is hardly saying something given that 2023 was only his second season in the NFL. However, he more than filled the void left by Dalton Schultz and turned into a tried-and-true middle-of-the-field weapon that Prescott utilized to great success. With all but 4 teams now done for the season, there is a lot of looking back happening across the NFL and media landscape, and this week saw NFL.com do that in one specific way. They decided to pick an unsung hero for each team, which is what it sounds like. We are talking about players who were significant contributors for their squads that may not have been expected to be. While Ferguson had his believers around BTB prior to the 2023 season, it feels safe to say that even the most optimistic person did not envision what we saw. He was the Cowboys' pick, if that is not obvious. Is it possible to be overlooked when you play with a star on your helmet? Anyone with a glimmer in Dallas is probably making a Pro Bowl or All-Pro roster. So let's use this opportunity to highlight Ferguson's play. The second-year tight end exploded for 71 catches and 761 yards with 5 TDs, ranking in the top 10 in each category among tight ends. Ferguson finished second among Cowboys pass catchers and targets, 102 catches and yards, while ranking 5th among tight ends in receiving yards over expected, 113, per Next Gen Stats. Ferguson combined the ability to find open gaps in the defense with stellar run-after-catch performance, 430 YAC, 6th most among TEs. He proved he's a keeper. Unfortunately for Ferguson, this is one of the only honors he received as, contrary to the blurb here, he was not named a Pro Bowler or All-Pro. You can certainly make the case that he deserved it. It is important to acknowledge that what we have seen from Ferguson to this point in his career is relatively unprecedented in franchise history. To date, Ferguson has played 33 games for the Cowboys, and he trails only Jason Witten in terms of production through the first 33 games of a career with the team. Ezekiel Elliott present during bar fight near Cowboys facility. Members of Ezekiel Elliott's crew are reportedly being investigated for their involvement in a Frisco, Texas bar fight. According to a report from TMZ Sports, Elliott and his friends were partying at a nightclub named Concrete Cowboy over the weekend. The club is located right next to the Dallas Cowboys practice facility. A violent encounter was said to have occurred at the venue at around 1 a.m. Footage of the fight showed Elliott speaking to a woman while punches were being thrown in the background. The incident report from the Frisco Police Department stated that a male and female were physically assaulted by a large group of males. The FPD, in a follow-up statement, noted that witnesses alleged Elliott's crew may have been involved, but the matter remains under investigation. The 3-time Pro Bowl running back is very familiar with the area after having played for the Cowboys from 2016 to 2022. Elliott signed a 1-year deal with the New England Patriots last season. He rushed for 642 yards with 3 touchdowns on 184 carries. Elliott is no stranger to run-ins with law. However, the extent of his involvement in this latest incident remains to be seen. Ezekiel Elliott has a new team, the New England Patriots. The running back will play his 8th season in the NFL for a new team after a long stay with the Dallas Cowboys. Ezekiel Elliott signed with the New England Patriots for the 2023 season. The deal lasts 1 year and could reach up to $6 million, according to Ian Rappaport. There are $3 million in base salary, $1 million guaranteed upon signing, and 2 more in incentives. Elliott, who was voted All-Pro twice and named to the Pro Bowl 3 times, was one of the best running backs in the NFL in the second half of the last decade. He was released by the Dallas Cowboys last March. Zeke saw his importance in the Cowboys' offense diminish due to his physical decline and the rise of Tony Pollard, who is under contract with the franchise for 1 year via the franchise tag. Rumors: Washington Commanders to secure Dan Quinn as HC? The Washington Commanders are still trying to get their bearings after another disappointing season. They are currently on the hunt for their next head coach after parting ways with Ron Rivera. The leading candidate for the job is reportedly Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn. While it's a move that will certainly raise eyebrows, they seem to be in deep talks. Julia Stumbaugh of Bleacher Report unveils information regarding the possible hiring of Quinn to replace Rivera, who finished his 4 years in D.C. with a 26-40-1 record. She writes that if Quinn doesn't manage to snag a head coaching role, he will stay as the Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator. He is also invited by the Seattle Seahawks for a second interview. Quinn isn't the only candidate the Commanders are considering to lead this change. The team has also reportedly held multiple interviews with Ravens assistant head coach and defensive line coach Anthony Weaver, Detroit Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson and defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn, and Los Angeles Rams defensive coordinator Raheem Morris. Now that Morris officially signs with the Atlanta Falcons, there are only 3 coaches left on the table. After missing out on Morris, the Commanders may make their decision sooner rather than later. There are plenty of issues that need addressing in Washington. Sam Howell didn't work out as QB1, which means the team needs to fill their head coaching vacancy soon to be better prepared for the 2024 NFL Draft. Quinn is a defensive specialist who is known for his stalwart defense. The Dallas Cowboys have a staunch defense thanks to his tutelage. They allowed the 5th least passing yards, 31.85, in the NFL. Their red zone defense was also solid, allowing only 21 passing TDs. However, the Cowboys' defense was ineffective when it mattered most. They lost embarrassingly to the Green Bay Packers during the wild card round and were demolished by a Brock Purdy-led San Francisco 49ers team last year. Moreover, Quinn was the head coach of the Atlanta Hawks that led over the New England Patriots 28-3 at the halftime of Super Bowl 51. Quinn proved himself as a capable head coach. However, the stigma attached to him and playoff inefficiency among fans might not go away anytime soon. This is something the Washington Commanders must be comfortable with if they decide to go with Quinn. And you fan, what do you think of the Dan Quinn situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.